All right.
Let's pitter patter. Let's get at her.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast, your bi-weekly podcast delivering an episode-by-episode breakdown of the original G1 series. This is our episode number 110, and today we're going to be covering Divide and Conquer, episode number 6 of the Transformers G1 series. And I'm your host, Aaron, and I'll be moderating this episode, and with me are two men who, well, let's just say they're the rice to my roni, the Rigga to my Tony, the cheese to my macaroni, the chili onions to my coney, the Wonder Bread to my bologna, paprika to my pepperoni, the Shetland to my pony, the Testa to my Moni, and the Zam to my Boney, the Walkman to my Sony. That's really enough of that. Who the fuck are you guys?
I'm Ryan. That was awesome. I love that.
Yeah, I'm Caleb. I could take more of that.
Oh, okay.
I could
All
listen
right.
to that all day.
Certainly a better reception than some of these that I've received. Getting right into our world, we went into great depth last time we spoke about our Patreon that's out there, but I wanted to just do another quick. We've got several levels with several different levels of enjoyment you might receive depending on how much you might want to support. So go out there, check it out. Ryan, what is that location?
Patreon.com/ApodDecast.
Right.
And we're recording this a month in advance, so for those of you who in between now, where this is Labor Day weekend, who pledge, you will be on episode 111 or 112.
Yes.
Speaking of in-betweeners, we did get one new donation
We did.
in between our last recording session and this one. Another one that seems to have some relation to you, Mr. Jet.
Jeremy G. Jet?
Who is that person?
That is my brother. My
Is
younger
that person
brother.
related to the UFC fighter, Ryan Jet, by any chance?
That must be it. Yeah, that's my younger brother, and it's unclear whether he is a patron of the podcast or just like a one-time donation and doesn't. Like, it will be canceled. I'm not sure, but shouts out to him.
Yeah.
Anyway, who definitely doesn't listen.
Your family is really coming through on
They're
this.
making up about like a third right now
awesome.
as a patron.
It's awesome.
So it's either a $5 or a $60 donation. More to come
Who
on
knows?
that one.
Who knows?
Either way, I do want to quickly shout out the goals and just remind everybody we have an awesome booty box at the $5 and $10 levels where we will be sending artwork and different trinkets of our creation to the group annually. But to unlock that goal, we've got to get 25 patrons.
So far, we're at 7. Which is pretty good for a week.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's
Actually,
really good.
I'm really
We're going
proud,
on a
of,
week.
proud of the community for helping us out.
Thank you.
Thank the community for helping us out. So definitely please pump it up to get to that $25 level so we can start producing
Right.
that.
Yep. All right, moving on.
Before we get into the episode proper here, Ryan is starting a new tradition here at the Autopod Decepticast by which he creates a new custom episode themed cocktail, and these episodes are inspired by the book. I believe it's called Jigger, Beaker, and Glass.
Yes.
From like the 20s or something.
It's from around the turn of the century, published in 1939. Caleb got it for me for my birthday. This segment is really just an excuse to make drinks from
Yep,
this
I love
and to fuel my continued slip into alcoholism.
Yep.
Slip.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's generous.
I guess just like quagmire of alcoholism.
Sure.
This is the Cosmotron Champagne Cocktail.
Nice.
And the Cosmotron is the MacGuffin for this episode, and like all MacGuffins, it's never explained. It has no meaning in and of itself, and much like this cocktail choice.
We gotta tie it in somehow.
And for those of you who don't know, a MacGuffin is basically just a device to move the plot forward, like the Maltese Falcon or the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. Today's beverage, it's endemic of the drinks in this book in and of it's needlessly complicated. So I'll just read from the book right here. Champagne cocktail number 3. In the charming style of the Jockey Club in Rio de Janeiro. Choose a large champagne cocktail glass. Inside of this, build a tower of 4 ice cubes. Crown it with a lump of sugar saturated with 4 dashes of orange bitters. Against the side of the glass, lean 2 sticks of ripe, fresh pineapple. Encircle the tower with a spiral of green lime peel and fill with well-chilled champagne. Medium dry, not too acid in type. Now as a crowning gesture, carefully float 1 tablespoon of Cointreau. Which is triple sec, basically.
Oh, gotcha.
Which is also an orange liqueur.
Yes.
All right.
Can we drink it yet?
Yep, let's try it.
Yes.
Let's cheers.
Cheers.
To this stupid episode.
Once again,
Fruity.
very refreshing.
Clean.
Yeah, it is. It's a good summer drink,
I
everybody.
like there's some sugar at the bottom.
Yeah, the sugar just kind of makes a pile at the bottom.
I like the slice how you've sliced everything to put in here too. Really good.
I got so angry trying to make these lime like the lime peels as long as I could.
Yeah.
And man, I was mad last night.
They look great.
Well, you did good.
It's hard to believe in the 30s they had such access to lime and pineapple.
Well, it was
a thing.
It was also Rio de Janeiro,
Yeah.
so
And I really think that, like, to your point, Aaron, to make a drink like this, say in outside of a tropical area, like to have a fruit in a drink was probably something that was harder,
Pretty exotic.
Absolutely.
exotic.
And like I remember, if you have read stuff where it's like people were amazed when bananas made the trip to America.
Yeah. I'm sure this was an expensive drink for the fact that like they had to acquire this, and they didn't get rotten fruit. They had to
Right.
It was expensive. So yeah, kudos to them.
Good drink. Nice pick. Once again called the
Cosmotron champagne cocktail.
Sweet.
All right. Let's do a quick last episode recap. We realized that antimatter isn't a very good plot device for world domination. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That brings us to our episode 6, Divide and Conquer, originally broadcast October 20th, 1984. And we kick things off at, guess what? Another goddamn factory.
Yeah.
This
and
episode is almost a copy paste.
it's like they're always in the middle of the desert.
Also, we do though kick off with a sweet ass Victor Caroli voiceover.
Factories are busy manufacturing weapons to be used against the greatest threat the world has ever known. Evil, super powerful robots, Decepticons. If you can use your computer...
Yeah.
That's true. We do get that. That's a little bonus. Caleb, would you say that maybe deserts are just easier to animate?
Yes. That was some. Yeah. Thank you, Aaron. I am curious about that. The choice of. I either think they're easier to animate, or
just background painting,
or they're like somehow that's how the Asian animators pictured
America.
United States, like
Yeah.
the Old West, cowboys, guns.
maybe. Yeah. So,
It is true that it's easier to just do beiges, I think, as a background animation.
also, I think that just their topics, their subject matter, probably just sticks out better in a desolate environment.
Right.
You can see the Transformers well.
It's flat, and then there's a building.
That's right.
This building is not manufacturing energy like the previous ones, but rather weapons.
Yeah.
And the Doogie Howser of weapons engineering, Chip Chase, seems to be employed by this facility to increase their manufacturing output.
Before even that, I love the poster of Megatron where it says "Our Enemy."
Yeah.
That certainly has been made a poster, right? Like that must exist. If not, we're definitely doing that.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
got that. You heard it here first.
Absolutely, we should. Maybe that'll be included in a Patreon booty box.
Or whenever we go to TFCon, maybe that'll be some part of our new thing. Have you done anything on the Starscream poster?
I've had a lot going on, Ryan.
I know. We're all busy.
We had a Patreon page to get up. Everything is and now we have content that we have to
generate. That's right.
for TFCon.
The poster did make me think of the extremely, in hindsight, inappropriate poster in our 8th grade history class of Saddam Hussein with a big target over his head, before Operation Desert Storm.
That doesn't belong in schools.
No, but I remember seeing it. This is the Gulf War in 1991. America was so horny for a good war.
I hadn't had one in a while.
No, not since World War II.
Vietnam, Ryan.
No, that wasn't a good war. I'm saying a good war. World War II was the last good war we
I
had.
understand.
Like a positive feeling war.
I understand, yes.
Also, Korea came in
Yeah, that wasn't a good war either.
No.
That was a forgotten war.
Yeah, it wasn't even a war. We never even declared war.
Right.
It was a police action.
That's right.
Was the Gulf War, is that considered a good war?
It was over in like 3 days.
Yeah, they call it like the 100 Hours
we
War.
won.
Yeah.
It was like you could barely get the posters of Saddam Hussein produced in time to
Yeah, I
finish
mean,
up the war.
honestly, a lot of the Iraqis didn't even know they were fighting Americans. They thought it was just an extension of the Iraq-Iran war.
By the way, see the movie Three Kings. That's a great
one.
movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
The poster of Megatron, I mean, this is a private enterprise here. The poster of Megatron on the wall, this is a weapons facility that I believe exists solely to make weapons to fight Decepticons.
I guess.
So it kind of makes sense that they, I guess, would have their objective slathered on a wall on top of some readout circuitry type panels.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, Chip Chase... He's working here. He's hanging out with, I guess, the plant manager, and his job is to increase their manufacturing output. And guess what? The Decepticons already know about this facility, and they blast their way in.
There's a bit here where the guards change into hard hat like oil workers. They initially are shown with baseball caps in like military gear. The next scene where they're shooting at the Seekers, they are in hard hats and white shirts.
It takes several destructive, ridiculous animation and vocal fuck-ups.
Oh, God.
But by the end of that string of mishaps, they've taken over this facility, or nearly taken over this facility.
This must be the densest collection of animation / voiceover fuck-ups in the whole series. At least what we've seen. Starscream teleports and speaks in 3 different voices.
Yeah.
Supposed to be Skywarp. Again, the identical Seeker models are a huge problem. I mean, it's so crazy. And then like Skywarp becomes Thundercracker for a little bit.
Yeah. It's a
mess.
It almost feels on purpose.
Well, again, like
if we were to create a modern day Transformers cartoon that was based and inspired by G1, you would probably put animation errors in there on purpose as a wink and a nod to the original series.
Yeah.
It feels like that level of.
Well, and again, at this, they're like it's so hard. Like they're. Yeah.
We just watched a scene where Thundercracker fired at some pipes that I guess are containing energy.
Yeah.
And then another Thundercrapper.
Yeah, let's say that. I would say that is accurate.
And then Thundercrapper
Spontaneously warps into scene here to take over the task of collecting that energy.
And becomes Skywarp.
But of course we know that's Skywarp's power, and we should see Skywarp holding an energon cube under this pouring.
I think the animators are doing their best to keep up with the direction that they're
It's
getting.
true.
Wait,
I mean,
what? Now what happens?
I'm sure they must be working under a deadline. Also, like again, why make 3 characters look identical and have to know how to color them? Like, at least give them different heads.
I completely understand how that is gotta be a pain in the ass. But at this point, we've got Chip Chase isn't recognized by the Decepticons. He makes a call to Autobot headquarters. Ryan, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, and I know the reason is because TV show, but why don't they just build a factory? Why don't the Decepticons just build their own factory? Like, they built this huge underwater base, they built a space bridge, just build a refinery.
It seems like a good scheme would be, hey, let's steal all the proprietary knowledge about Earth's various energy manufacturing methods, rubies, oil,
As we all know, rubies
and let's build
are
a
the
super
best.
factory that
Harnesses
harnesses all of it, almost like Autobot City does at the beginning of Transformers the movie.
Absolutely.
Back at Autobot headquarters, we're at the side of a volcano. There's woods.
We see something other than desert
And
pine trees.
Thank God.
Ironhide is Skyping with Optimus Prime, and Prime is he's out hunting space bridges. all of a sudden, we get Chip's reception.
Autobots, transform and meet me there.
Yes.
Another
we
classic
still haven't
Prime
gotten
line.
We still haven't gotten to the line that will become Does he ever say transform and roll for it? Because that is now a line that does exist, but like...
Well, I think the line is actually transform and roll out.
Yes, that's what I meant. Transform and roll out. But like...
Well, that won't be our last version of this in this episode.
He's working on it himself. He's
It's a process.
He's probably got a list.
And meet me there.
It's like, all right, he's back at the arc. Transform and meet me there.
I'm going to drop a pin. This is where I'll be.
Yeah.
Back at the weapons factory, the Decepticons have drawn as much energy as possible from a place that's job is not to produce energy.
Right.
And while communicating the results of his success with Megatron remotely, Optimus Prime shows up to crash the party. No other Autobots there to support him.
And also when Prime comes in, he has this weird streamlined alt mode, which looks more like later Cybertronian toys of him, where it's like his cab is like canted at a 45-degree angle in the front.
Does he? We're going to see here in a second as the screen action progresses. Is it almost like a wedge to help him bust through a wall? Or something?
No. It's right here. There.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if it was meant to indicate he's moving really fast.
I think it was just another I
don't know. It's just off. I think it's just an off-model animation. But again,
I mean, it's one drawing too.
To the point of this being a copy paste of the last episode. Now, we still have the Seekers fighting Prime. At a fucking energy.
I will have to hand again. I said this incorrectly last time. This is where Starscream does a really good job of just aiming and shooting Optimus and just shooting him and blasting him into a wall.
Yeah. That's actually a really cool sequence.
It is.
He hits him. Prime flies into a wall. Megatron, who is still, by the way, able to see all this action taking place, he orders the Seekers. He's like, look, there's one Prime, there's three of you. Fuck him up.
Yep.
And gang up. But the Decepticons do not really gang up.
No, they don't do... They do the opposite, where it's attack individually is what they think gang up means.
It's like professional wrestling.
Yes, it
is. It really is. Well, not
Unless
breaking
kayfabe
here. Thundercracker, he fires some missiles from his wrist,
Wrong again.
I guess, or his forearms, which Optimus Prime is able to take out with his blaster here.
Rifle.
Then we've got Skywarp, who fires a single missile that Prime is able to dodge, but thank God we've got Chip Chase here to tell him, hey...
Optimus, watch out! That's a heat-seeking missile!
So it looks like... It reminded me of the homing missiles in Twisted Metal. It looks just like them.
Oh man, I missed that game.
That's a great series.
Why don't we play video games? Do you guys play video games still?
Nope.
I mostly play Nintendo games.
Vintage Nintendo.
Yep.
I only play one game. There's only one game for me.
Oh, is it, what is it?
Romance of the Three
Kingdoms. I don't know why I was thinking Hearts of the Kingdom, but yeah, Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
That's the only game for me.
Homing missile flips around. Prime, not really a big deal at all. Just all you got to do is like brace yourself with your forearm and
I think he just deflects it. Yeah,
deflects it into the air. Starscream takes a dive at Optimus Prime, which causes him to drop his rifle. His rifle hits the ground. Blaster goes off. Hits the supercomputer, which is apparently loaded with some sort of explosive energy.
I was going to say, it must be made of like gasoline and oily rags, because I don't think computers just blow like that.
They would just be damaged and stop working.
Yes.
They built this whole thing out of oil cake.
Good callback, Caleb.
Well, that energy that they're soaking up has to be coming from somewhere.
I would also say, as we're about to see, where Prime puts himself in harm's way to control the blast, why not just... like maybe
cover the humans.
Yes.
Do what Bumblebee does and transform over the top of them.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what he does. To protect the humans from the explosion, he just kind of splays his body over the top of the pulsating supercomputer, which explodes and severely injures him. And in his weakened state, this is the Seekers' opportunity to throw all their blaster power at them. Still plenty of rocks that could have cracked some humans' heads from that explosion.
Yeah, they fuck him up here.
Spike, he tries to get Optimus's gun.
Optimus gets fucked up this episode.
Oh, way so more than when he rolled down the hill, and as we'll see in just a little bit, has no trouble transforming, but
he gets fucked up to a level that it is very surprising that he's still alive after each sequence ends. Every time.
It reminds me of Naked Gun where Nordberg keeps getting messed up at the beginning of the movie.
I mean, I don't know if we can talk about O.J. Simpson. He is a free man. He's all over the Twitter. We should follow O.J.
I'm not talking about O.J. I'm talking about his character.
Naked Gun. Watch that movie. It has a murderer in it.
Yes, it does.
That sequence, where he hits he touches like a hot stove, and he gets shot up. Yeah, he touches a hot stove. He slips on a banana peel.
It's so
his face ends up in a wedding cake for no reason.
Heroin, Frank.
Heroin.
That's a pretty tall order, Nordberg.
I love you. I love you too, Nordberg.
It's unfortunate because O.J. Simpson is a very charming actor.
In that role, he's just kind of a dunce, and you can just get behind it.
I don't look at him as a dunce. I look at him as a person where the bad things just happen to.
It's great. I think I would love to see bad things continue to happen to him.
Maybe as restitution for his double
murder,
double homicide. They should have O.J. Simpson reenact in real life all of the painful things that happened to him in The Naked Gun. But but it causes real pain. It's not acting.
Have you seen he did a prank show?
I heard about that, and I can't believe it existed.
Yeah,
but they're not really juice jokes or something.
Yes, it's something like that. But it's not really a prank show. It's more of just like him being in the world. It's like he's on a golf course and he walks up and hey, I'm O.J. Simpson. Or you're going through a fast food drive-thru and it's oh, I'm getting a burger from a murderer.
Yeah, if you're OJ, you should wear a glove every time you introduce yourself to somebody and just give him a wink.
But the glove doesn't quite fit.
I am shocked he does not sell tiny gloves with his signature on it.
Oh man, wow!
That man
copyright that.
Oh, there's no reason we can't sell tiny gloves with OJ's fake signature on it.
No, we can totally do that.
Let's put that in the store.
Yeah.
Autopod Decepticast OJ gloves.
Is that in poor taste? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so
where are we?
I don't know anymore.
What we've seen happen here is that Optimus Prime has been very damaged. Megatron commands the Seekers to grab whatever energy they can.
Yes,
which they do. They cram into their guts. They transform and fly
over the Autobots.
Just as the rest of the Autobots, Bumblebee, Trailbreaker, Wheeljack, they arrive. Oh, and Ironhide.
Wait, what?
And Ironhide wants to give chase, but you know what? He can't. They gotta help Optimus. He's, hopefully he can be repaired because parts replacement.
When Optimus
essential.
When Optimus gets injured, does somehow he automatic defaults to just partial, incomplete?
I wrote that too. Where it's mobility limited.
Badly damaged. Losing energy rapidly. Wheeljack, can you repair me?
I hope so.
Part replacement essential. Where I'm this bugs me because I feel like it's in a lot of cartoons and even maybe movies where it's I've been hurt and sick, but I never lose the ability to say nouns or
I might start just doing that when I get sick.
I omit grammar.
I wonder if the idea behind that is because they're robots, and so does somehow them being injured revert them to some primordial robotic nature of them, where they're not as
You're right, because Prime does it here, and then Bumblebee does it again later in the episode.
Yeah,
failed or something fucked up. Shit.
The Autobots at this point tow their leader back to Autobot headquarters for Wheeljack to work on him. He actually drives himself out of the facility, but then we do a cut, and you see Trailbreaker towing Ironhide.
It's Ironhide and Ratchet also.
And then finally they're towing Optimus at the end.
The music here, to me, it sounds like it should be over a film noir, detective doing a voiceover about a dropper and how a blind tiger is supplying him with liquid courage. Listen to it.
He's gotta make it. I don't know. He got hit real bad. Hey, lighten up, you guys. Optimus is gonna pull through.
Oh, yeah.
It's very saxophony.
Yeah. Is this music?
Thank you, Caleb.
The Seekers return to the Decepticons' underwater city base. Starscream is utterly convinced of Prime's death, but Megatron isn't so sure. Can you guarantee his laser core was extinguished? Which is interesting. I wonder if that is kind of the first reference to what would maybe be a spark as we talk about the Transformers' life essence. Laserbeak is ejected and commanded to discover Optimus Prime's true medical status.
This is weird because Megatron acts like Laserbeak doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
And it's the one rare part where we see like Laserbeak like cowardly, which it does say in his profile, in his tech specs, that he is, but like it's just weird. It's just
they never indicate that he's cowardly ever. He's usually actually pretty gung-ho.
He clearly is perched on Megatron's arm and goes,
He is he is so brazen that he will attack Bumblebee, Chip, and Spike for no reason at all in a previous episode. I like Megatron. I've got it paused at 620 here, and we see Laserbeak perched on Megatron's forearm, and look at Megatron's puny little arm cannon there.
Yeah, there's a lot of like his especially the end of the cannon, the end of the fusion cannon.
Yeah,
where
that's what I'm talking about.
It's very changeable. Like in the last episode, I didn't call it out, but there's that segment where he loads the energon, the antimatter energon cubes into his chest. The cannon is like an inch long.
It almost looks like that would be when he's an adapter, like he's trying to be more precise. Mm-hmm. So he has
like
to
whenever Prime dials his cannon in episode 4.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
That's totally what it is. Okay. So Laserbeak flies to the Autobot volcano base and hitches a ride on Brawn's fucking shoulder to sneak into the base.
This is so dumb. Also, we have a rare, like, really good close-up of, I don't know if it's Thundercracker or Skywarp.
It was Skywarp.
Thank you. His face, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good close-up. But then, Laserbeak transforms into his tape mode and lands on Brawn's shoulder to get penetration into the Autobot base. It's so fucking dumb.
He goes in through the top of the volcano, which I don't know if we've established whether or not this volcano is active or not. Does that come into play?
Well, it's active.
It was active at one point in time because we saw it explode.
I would say it's extinct.
But it has to be active at some point because the activation of the volcano is what woke up the Autobot, or what woke up Teletrain 1.
Well, fuck.
All right, well, I don't know that he could just fly in through the top of that thing, but in fact, it seems like the Autobots that are entering the base, which is
it's weird,
Windcharger and Brawn, and I believe, is that Gears?
Gears.
They're going in through the front entrance,
which seems to be recessed now. It's like not.
I think it's a different entrance.
Maybe it is internally. Yeah. Okay. Short story long. Laserbeak is on his shoulder. He's walking into the headquarters. We transition to a scene of Ratchet and Wheeljack, forever partners here, and they're working on Optimus Prime. Mm-hmm. The team, inclusive of Brawn, walks into the room. Laserbeak at this point just hops off his shoulder, transforms into his mode.
And we have
not quite yet. He before he does that, he jumps on top of a rock.
Yes.
And instead of a camera coming out of his head, out of like I guess the air intakes of his engines on his wings.
We have a new.
He's got cameras everywhere.
Yeah. Laserbeak is just cameras all the way down.
Yeah.
We should keep watching and see how this proceeds over time. Mm-hmm. But, like a nice supercut would be all of Laserbeak's cameras.
Yes, we need to do a supercut of all of Laserbeak's
I'd love to
cameras.
see a masterpiece Laserbeak where you can actually add all of the camera attachments to it.
That would be amazing. Is there there are masterpiece tapes, right?
There is a Masterbeak buzzsaw and Laserbeak.
Masterbeak, I like that.
And both of them have cameras in their head that you can. It's not a very robust thing, but you just get your finger in there and pry it up, and there's a camera.
Nice.
There is also a third party that made a actual cassette tape sized version of that. It would be MMC Ocular Max that made, and I don't own it. Actually, I own the Ocular Max versions of Rumble. They basically make more proportionate versions of the tapes. Again, they are the size of
The
real
size of
cassette
real
tapes,
tapes.
but their transformation is more the size of what they should be. However, so they have the version of that for those guys, but my feeling is the actual masterpiece version is more in correct proportion to
Gotcha.
what Laserbeak should be. Laserback. I'm just
Laserback.
making up all the names.
I love your
Camera-
your accidental
camera
word
beak.
salads.
Anyway, I haven't bought those because they don't really have a place in my collection, but I kind of want to buy them just to tinker with them. Anyway, Laserbeak, camera, out of his air intakes. He's watching, and that means Megatron is watching. He sees what's going on. He knows that Prime is in bad shape, and he gives a command, finish off Optimus Prime.
Blast him.
Also, right before that, Huffer, this fucking dildo, he's like,
He's doomed. I know it. I can feel it in my data bank.
that's not helpful. You fucking asshole.
Prime, or Spike is crying. Prime is going to die?
I'm sorry, I don't know why this made me laugh, but when when Optimus gets blasted, the explosion's so
The explosion's really
crazy.
weird. It's weird. It looks like a 4th of July fountain.
Well, it's just
Oh my God.
So Laserbeak is firing in Optimus Prime's chest. It's shocking. Like, it is smoking and
Yes.
firing like a 4th of July snake.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit.
And ultimately, it sparks up and explodes. It's
crazy.
by explode, it's molten metal.
Yeah.
Just flying off of him. And
It fills up the entire screen.
and that's when we
go
to commercial.
Oh my god.
We come back from commercial. The smoke clears. Prime is still flaming. He's an electro
He's fucked up
sparking.
so bad.
Yeah.
He's so messed up.
Also,
But after everything that happened, strangely enough, when we look
can
at him
still
at
talk.
8:13, not only can he still talk, his body really looks fine. It just looks like his chest has been removed, but he should be molten. He should be a puddle on the ground.
He should be dead.
and not to obviously not to call this out because later, but yeah, clearly there's no Matrix. Just to point it out.
Not a thing that existed
Of
yet.
course.
In the continuity, what does Prime say? He says, functioning, but energy draining.
Yeah, quick.
Fast.
Yes.
Yeah, no shit.
This is where Ratchet identifies that he needs an item of some unspecified function called a Cosmotron.
You see, I need to get this part. It's a Cosmotron.
Oh, no.
That would be that's better than my note
That'd be
here.
a Cosbytron.
I said he needed an item of unspecified function, but my notes actually say an item of unspecified function. That's a fun typo.
Yes.
Here's the deal. Wheeljack has one of these Cosmotrons, but it's in his old workshop on Cybertron.
Cybertron?
That's a problem. We don't know where these space bridges are, and it also turns out that the bots are going to need to unlock some computerized lock that he just knows the Decepticons have put on his old workshop since he's left the
Well,
planet.
presumably they put it there before, because the Autobots were clearly in the pilot episode in dire straits whenever they left the Cybertron. So I assume that they had
It was
locked
put on there before they left.
Yeah.
Which
Which was 4 million years ago.
Yeah. So the bots are going to need to get back to Cybertron, unlock that computerized lock on the workshop. No Autobot is smart enough to crack the lock. Only Chip Chase can do it.
You did skate past it, but Caleb and I were both laughing at the part where Ironhide puts his mouth over or puts his hand over Huffer's mouth.
Yeah.
Shut up, Huffer. Back to the cons. Megatron and Starscream are arguing about attack strategy. Starscream wants to hit now, but Megatron has other ideas. He gets in touch with Shockwave, who lets Megatron know that there's 72 billion astroseconds
I
from
didn't
now
do the math
that,
this time.
that a space bridge is going to materialize in a random fucking forest.
That's 17. If I'm correct, if it's 17 billion astroseconds, a billion astroseconds, from my calculations, I believe equals a day. So that's 2 weeks, basically.
Ryan is the wheeljack of this operation, which means his calculations are going to be off by a day.
And dangerous.
Yes.
Chip Chase is doing something that Optimus Prime didn't think to do at this point in the show, which is to leverage the power of Teletran 1, the smartest computing device in the Transformers kingdom, to guess the next space bridge location.
It's just another, like, how do we make these fuckers get together? Oh, Teletran. And Spike's like, I don't get it. You're the smartest man I've ever known, Chip.
Meanwhile, we've got Wheeljack and Ratchet. They're still working on parts of Optimus Prime that it makes no sense for them to report. Fucking forearms.
Fix his wrist.
Act busy. I'm doing something.
We get to Starscream, Rumble, and some reflectors. They're putting some finishing touches on the Space Bridge receiver, I guess is what it is. And they load up a ship with Energon, select an unwilling volunteer in the form of a reflector, and send them off into that intergalactic
It's a weird
donut.
voice that this reflector has. It's very human. Like,
it's horrifying.
It's kind of bad. Yeah, I feel bad for this guy.
Hey, I thought we needed a driver to haul the stuff across the space bridge. We do.
No! Please! Not me! No!
Have a nice journey, warrior.
It's
No, man, not me. I don't want to go.
and it sounds strangely like Ratchet, some might say, because it's the guy.
Yes, thank you. Yes,
He
yes.
just picks him up and sets him in there.
Yeah, he just
Bye-bye.
You'll be fine.
Despite the
Rumble literally waves bye-bye.
I'm just glad it's not me. Despite the animation that clearly shows the ship not being sucked into the wormhole, it shows up on Cybertron.
Sure.
It drops again.
Yeah.
It's just they just reused
They just
old footage.
recycled the animation inappropriately. And Shockwave at this point radios Megatron to inform him of the success.
Hey, I got your shit, Megatron. I got your pizza boxes.
I really like the idea that Shockwave and this reflector become lifelong friends. They're both just kind of
so lonely.
the forgotten people of the team.
I do need. I have plans. I want to make a graphic of a Soundwave or Shockwave like pizza delivery service where they're delivering pizza boxes of Energon. I'm gonna make that.
Okay.
Oh, what's the connection?
Because like there's an episode earlier on. I think it's 3 or 4 where the, like
we
Soundwave
talked
is
about the pizza box.
yeah, Soundwave's literally holding Energon cubes that look like pizza boxes. So look forward to that in a year and a half.
I actually sketched out this idea that maybe I'll produce of it's Soundwave. He has a cube coming out. He'll be pressing down to flatten it, and then the third is him just sleeping on it, and Ravage is next to him. Because
That's cute. Energon pillows. Oh,
Transformers fans love cute shit.
they do. It's true.
They're all over cutifying this
And
war show.
I'm into it.
We are going to go back to the Autobots who are approaching the space bridge.
This battle is so weird.
Chip and Teletran have located this together. The Decepticons immediately see that Autobots are there. And
I
attack.
do like how that tree tracks with the frame.
Yeah, a little bit of artistic.
It's fine, whatever.
So reflectors apparently have the ability to shine some bright ass light
Out of their lens.
which blinds the team. This goes on to a theme that we've talked about in other times. I think the purpose of a Transformer and a special ability they have being the opposite of the purpose. Like,
Well, you
Perceptor
say that.
can look at micro things, but he also can look at things from far away. In this circumstance, like the lens of the camera is specifically there to
take in
receive things, but it can also output.
Yeah, well, again, they're not the things they portray.
Sure.
They are
Here we go.
mimicking those things.
Here we go.
Here we go.
They are mimicking those things, but if they are doing the actual thing that they are supposed to do, aren't they those things?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, they are.
No.
Reflector is a robot who is also a camera.
Yes, but it doesn't. He can mimic the activity of a camera, but it doesn't mean he.
There's
can't.
no reason he shouldn't be able to have other abilities
Absolutely.
outside of it. I get it. But
We
it
are
is
fight.
opposites.
I understand your perspective.
Starscream, so the Decepticons are fucking shit up, but Starscream gets a very strange command from
This
Megatron,
is so dumb.
which is to let the Autobots win.
Oh my god. I put this in the note where it's like, let the Autobots win. I get that Megatron has a plan, quote unquote, but like the Decepticons were doing really well.
Yeah.
Like, so you've traded a potential looks like victory for a possible really convoluted plan victory.
Yeah, some might say that convoluted plan might not be necessary
if you win here.
If they win here. So yeah, with that though, Starscream is frozen by Ironhide. We've got a reflector that's just animation errored out of existence.
No. What happens, and I watched this a couple times, what happens is he is phasing into himself. Like whenever, is it Prowl that shoots him? Let's see.
I thought it was Blue Streak.
It might be Blue Streak.
Hang on. Runs in, Blue Streak shoots him.
Okay, yes, Blue Streak shoots Reflector. He phases into his copies.
Like into his brother?
Yes, he phases into himself to become one, which I'm like, whoa, that is something we've never... He's like a reverse multiple man from X-Men.
I don't know. That's
cool.
X-Men. I'm ashamed.
Multiple man is somebody who, whenever he hits himself, he makes copies of himself. Well, also he can reabsorb himself, so it's not really reverse. But I've never seen that where Reflector phases into himself, but that is clearly what is occurring.
Then Rumble, he sort of jumps in the air, and I'm guessing that's a Trailbreaker
It's a force field, yeah.
That just bonks. So they throw the fight. And
it's also fun because it is raining in this scene, which is like foreshadowing what's about to happen later. And then Trailbreaker does do the force field, which is again foreshadowing what's going to happen in a little bit on Cybertron.
They didn't make it very evident that there is a artistic connection between that.
I'm really digging deep.
The Autobots drive into the space bridge and get right in that beam of light to Cybertron.
This is what I'm saying. This becomes a thing where like Shockwave is constantly, shocked. Who comes through the space bridge?
There's no control over
They definitely should have built a staging area, with a pen of some kind.
Well, and they make such a big deal over the space bridge needing a very precise amount of time to recharge or whatever to be ready for action. Yeah. But yet these guys can just drive in, activate it, and go. And I feel like Shockwave probably has some
should have known
operational influence on operate. Like I feel like he should push a button to make it work on his end.
Yes, I don't know how many of our listeners have watched Stargate SG-1, but it's very Stargate SG-1 where they have Stargate is an interdimensional wormhole, but on Earth, the premise of the show, they have an iris you can put over the Stargate, which means people can't come through. It's kind of like it should be like that. And also, though, in this show, it's basically like Shockwave has a penthouse with an elevator that just is a public elevator that opens up into his penthouse.
Yes, he's like, God damn it.
So we go to Cybertron. He and his new best reflector buddy are unloading, octahedral energon cubes.
They could be anything.
It's a total utter surprise that the Autobots are showing up. At the very least, even if he didn't have the control we're talking about it, you'd think Megatron would be like, hey,
BT dubs.
But he doesn't, and so we have a little minor battle sequence here where they have to throw their energon cubes to the side, shoot some guns. Ironhide, he needs to get out of here. Luckily, there just happens to be this liquid nitrogen backpack on the wall, which he uses to then freeze the wall and then bust out of it.
I think in the script that's meant to be his normal powers, because Ironhide, as we've seen even in this episode, has nitrogen, cooling
So are we
powers.
saying the animators made a decision on their own to be like, what the fuck? This doesn't make any sense that he'd be shooting nitrogen out of his wrists. Let's put a backpack on the wall for them.
But also then he has sticky powers now. He's like gross Spider-Man.
He shoots his web jizz all over the floor. and now Shockwave and the Reflector are stuck, and they're giving the Autobots the opening to escape from Shockwave's penthouse, which I do like that idea that Shockwave is lonely, but he's also a billionaire. He's got a penthouse at the top of the tallest building on Cybertron. And he's like what Trump should be.
Yeah, but this Shockwave's penthouse, there's no control who comes in and out of the penthouse, which I really actually enjoy. Here's that famous scene of him looking like he's dancing, that they've used as a gift.
Yeah. Oh, and we get to see the Rainmakers.
That's right. So
Make it rain.
the Autobots are still in hot water because Megatron has summoned the Rainmakers. I don't believe they were named this until much later,
way late
in the canon. But he wants them to create acid rain to destroy the Autobots,
which is where they get their names.
Fuck killing the Autobots outside on the other side of the space bridge.
Yeah, we have this
kill them
convoluted
on
plan.
Cybertron for some
Or
reason.
closing the space bridge.
Or telling Shockwave to murder them, like right upon, like the elevator door is going to open. What you should do is shoot all of them to death. But I want you to be ready for it.
Right.
And that's the Acid Storm is the green one, Ion Storm is the blue one, and Nova Storm is the yellow Seeker.
That's different from what I've heard.
Why?
The yellow one is Sunstorm.
That's a different guy.
Is it?
Yeah, they're two different guys.
You know what you got to do? You got to put more than just Rainmakers
Into Google.
In your Google
Into
search
the Googles.
bar. Acid Storm, Ion Storm, Nova Storm. Okay, good for you, Ryan. You're right. I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, we were wrong actually. Whenever we did the first episode, the More Than Meets the Eye, episode 1, because Sunstorm is the one who comes out of that, or I think that's his name, who is in that one, but it's not the same guy who becomes Nova Storm.
In the, not the IDW comics, rather the Dreamwave comics that preceded IDW, Sunstorm is a character, but he is a clone of Starscream that gets even crazier and more maniacal.
That's fun.
You know.
As I texted this to you guys too, but like I've been listening to the TFU and he's on to season 3 episodes, so I'm like, I can't wait till we get there.
I wish
they're so bonkers.
part of the reason that I did not want to do an episode by episode thing and rather pick and choose crazy episodes was because I really just want to get to season 3 so badly. But now I'm just going to have to be edged. I'm just edged this whole time
Just milk.
until you finally release me on season 3. All right, the Autobots, they get to Wheeljack's old workshop.
And I love how Chip's just like,
Beep,
there's
pop,
one more thing I can try. And it works. You've just tried every button.
Well, he's thinking like, all right, how did we get in the old days? Oh yeah, we just hit 3 buttons.
Yes.
The door opens.
295 or whatever.
Yeah, it is a big deal that they made him out to be such a genius, and that's why they needed him to get in the workshop. But
Sure.
it just seems like he's randomly
Beep, bop, boop.
hitting buttons. And also, he's like, I can only try one last thing. Well, it's always the last thing you try.
Of course. It's always in the last place you look because you stop looking.
That's right. You don't need to do anything.
Dad jokes.
Wherever you go, there you are.
Harry Carey.
Ironhide enters the workshop, grabs the gadget. Apparently, he
That
needed-
was fast.
I like how he needed headlights on his head,
On his
to
eyes?
see it, because you'd think that they would have some sort of like just vision. Night vision
His
built
tits
in,
should
but
be the
whatever.
headlights. Like they're literally.
It's coming out
Headlights.
coming out of his nippies.
Yeah.
Look at these like cool clouds on Cybertron.
Yeah, this is the first time we see an atmosphere. Also, by the way, Chip Chase can breathe on Cybertron.
Oh yeah. Sure.
So it must have an oxygen atmosphere.
Yeah, and also Chip Chase is impervious to acid rain.
Yeah, this episode and the movie Scrooged really skewed my version of what acid rain was.
I was going to say the same thing. I didn't know if it was the movie Scrooge. I feel like acid rain along with quicksand was
Yes.
one of those things
Yes.
that was like a childhood fear
That's not
never
real.
really makes sense. It made sense as a child. Oh, acid rain, I'll get melted. Quicksand, sucked right in. But it's
Because
the
quicksand,
reality of those things just isn't.
as long like quicksand's not really a threat. Like it's a threat of like you starve to death or die of dehydration because you can sink in it, but you can't sink under your face because it's buoyancy. And then acid rain is just acidic rain. It's only dangerous for the environment. It's
Back
not
to the
dangerous for
quicksand thing.
human.
Quicksand is also not as fast as
No.
it seems like.
In
It
the
seems like
50s
3
movies?
steps in and you're halfway in. It's not like that.
Thanks,
but
Princess Bride.
that's not quick.
Oh, that was lightning sand. What
Yeah,
was it?
that's
Lightning
right.
sand?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Chop a vine, hop in. Save
What
your
about their
girl.
RUSs?
Roads of usual size?
I don't think they exist.
Damn it. Dorktown.
So acid rain.
They walk out of the workshop. The Rainmakers have seeded the clouds that exist on Cybertron with whatever it takes to make this acid rain happen. We see this barrage of laser-fied acid rain hitting the ground. We see that the Autobots and maybe, I guess, all Transformers are susceptible to this. You can't
if it hits our circuits, it's a problem.
And they are immobilized. And as we go to commercial, we understand that they have failed.
Yeah, they have
really accepted defeat quickly.
Yeah, they just lie down immediately.
I'm glad the Bumblebee was able to set Chip down
instead of just dropping
him. Land on top of him.
Here's a question: why didn't they just duck into the workshop?
They're not. Autobots are not very intelligent.
They're not very good at their job. They're not. Well, and here's how I frame it: they're not warriors. They're forced into the role of warriors. Like they don't want to be. They're
as
not
a non-warrior. You'd think they'd know how to sheepishly take shelter.
Right.
Well.
They lost the war on Cyber. You can see right here. Here's a snapshot of why they lost the war on Cybertron. Pretty quick.
So we see all the crew. They're struggling. They're zip zapping from this acid rain just hitting them, and then we've got just poor Chip Chase
sitting out there getting wet.
Sitting and I guess is he getting wet?
Well, he's getting hit with acid rain.
Do we look at it as literal rain? Whatever it is, it doesn't impact him.
Yes, right. It doesn't affect presumably it does not affect organic matter. So it must be some kind of like electronic issue. But it does seem to be rain because it's coming from a cloud.
And
I don't know, man.
If it's not, if it's wet, he should be like sopping soggy hair. If not, his circuits sizzling.
Maybe it's electronic rain.
Electronic rain.
That's good.
Falls down on the Cybertronic plane.
Is that a chocolate rain reference?
Yes.
We're digging way into the old school memes here at the Autopod.
Hello, 2002.
Okay, we're back. Megatron is feeling pretty cocky at this point. Starscream wants to attack while the advantage is theirs, and Megatron agrees.
It's so cute. Also, like Starscream's
so cute.
Well,
adorable.
In a second, but like Starscream does this thing where his fist glows. Like, like he has the glow from The Last Dragon, which is in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. And I just have you guys seen the movie Sorry to Interrupt You?
No.
It's so good. Like, it is Lakeith Stanfield and Tessa Thompson and like Danny Glover and like a bunch of those guys from Lakeith Stanfield is Darius in Atlanta, and it takes a real turn in the third act that is bananas, but it's a very good show. But anyway, there's a part where Tessa Thompson does an art show where she quotes from The Last Dragon, which is why I'm bringing that up. Anyway, go watch The Last Dragon and watch Sorry to Interrupt You, but that is
Atlanta.
And Atlanta. Atlanta's amazing. That's an amazing show. It's all good. It's one of the rare shows that has an all-black writing cast. But like as I was saying, it's cute. For Megatron says, "For once, Starscream, we agree," and I was just like, "Oh, they should hug."
Yeah, I just paused it because I just noticed there's like a sort of semi-embrace that Megatron and Starscream share here. Yeah. I think making a GIF where Megatron is just stroking Starscream's arm. But at this point, they're going to attack. Everybody is sympathetic to that idea. We go back to Mount St. Fuckshit, where the Autobots are patiently waiting for the
Cosmotron,
whatever it is, and
like the Gravitron.
And if they don't get it, all hope is lost.
Right.
We find that the Decepticons are arising from the oceanic depths. They're flying towards Autobot headquarters and victory, for that matter.
I like this shot. Like it's a cool shot of the Decepticons flying. It's static, but and then we get back to again where I guess robots can't talk whenever they're hurt because B is like acid rain disabled circuitry.
Yeah. Also, acid rain isn't wet.
Yeah,
because
it's just electronic, I guess.
Chip is just not soaked,
or just who fucking wants to animate wet water like water?
a wet Chip. I don't know why that was funny, but I appreciate the laughter. This is an iconic part where Chip reminds Bumblebee. Everybody's kind of like, ugh, this is over. We've lost. And Chip says,
Disabled circuitry. No one's ever really disabled as long as he has courage.
and that inspires the team to dig in. Trailbreaker emits a force shield to protect them from the acid rain. Bluestreak, he takes care of the Rainmakers, and all their auto repair systems just fix them up. Why doesn't Optimus Prime have an auto repair system, by the way?
It is presumably like where you have like the back to tanks in like a Battlefront where they heal automatically. Did you have something to say about that line, Caleb? The nobody's really disabled as long as he has courage.
I mean, obviously, it's a very cool line that really kind of sums up the whole overarching theme of Chip.
Yes,
being overcoming disability, but saying it in a way where he's not disabled,
And he's not referring to himself.
yes,
but
yes,
Because it's
a very subtle.
It's Bumblebee
thing.
who talks about
that's
being
right.
disabled.
I think it's a really, really nice way.
Also, I
Some good
absolutely agree.
some good writing there to get that theme in there and drive it home in a very mature way, but also in a good way that kids can understand it.
And it's not being on the nose. It feels
Yes.
like the 80s and into the 90s was like the very on the nose
Yes.
messaging.
Right.
Like
Again,
Drugs, just say no.
everything was always just about focusing on
And
the
pointing it
disability. But this, he just adds value.
Yeah.
and it's a nice way of where they switch it on him, where at that point the Autobots are disabled,
Yes.
and he is not.
Yes.
And he is explaining something to them. It's a role reversal, but in a very tasteful and
It's a very subtle, very
and
well
successful
done way.
So I have to
I
say,
love it.
Good job.
And it could have been a super corny line, and it just delivered so well by Michael Horton, and it feels very earnest, and I love it. I love that line.
The episode credit goes to Donald F. Glutt. Now, as has been stated by Ron Friedman in our interviews with him, he had rewriting credit or
Yes.
had over all of that. And having spoken to Ron Friedman and obviously he is a very inclusive guy, like being against discrimination of all sorts is a theme of his life. I don't know that he gave that note, but it feels like a very Ron Friedman-esque note. Let's write this character. He's in a wheelchair, but let's never talk about him being disabled because that's what everybody
Could be.
does.
Right.
Could be.
And let's just make him be a contributor. And
It's true. For all the shit I give Ron Friedman, yes, he's always been very about like all inclusive of everybody.
His messages are on point.
Yes.
yeah, if you haven't seen the Ron Friedman, it's not Patreon. It's like a GoFundMe.
It was a Kickstarter.
or a Kickstarter for his book. Go listen to that. It's revealing in several ways.
Rough.
We can love and appreciate Ron Friedman, and also
Some stuff is not age. He's an old man.
He's in his 80s. He's
Yes.
mid to upper 80s.
but he is sharp as a tack.
Yep.
It's not like
He's good.
He's very
Go
smart.
listen to Aaron's episode where he interviews Ron.
on the outside of a pool. with
Yes, where
children
children are
laughing and
screaming.
splashing in the background, which I'm sure he loved. He did not bitch about it at all.
Oh, he's a professional.
Everybody has stood up. They feel pretty good about.
Feel good as new, actually.
Yeah, which is weird.
Okay.
And so they're going to transform and roll for the life
Yes.
of Optimus Prime.
That's right. Let's do it.
And it's Shockwave. The fools, they're back. They'll never reach out as functional mechanisms, or
They will.
totally will. Like you're not. Again, he's just he is like the most trod upon.
Yes.
Like everybody
I
can
feel
just
sorry
get away
for
with
him.
anything.
So
He's
what's
such
happening?
a pushover.
What's happening on screen is the Autobots got to get back to Earth.
Yep.
With the Cosmopolitan, and they smash through. Or they don't smash through in the pre-smashed hole.
Yeah, they just
They
run
go
in
back through the
Shockwave's,
hole they
in
made.
Shockwave's penthouse. They come back, and Shockwave has just gotten done freeing his lonely reflector buddy. And these guys show up. Shockwave is disturbed.
Also,
by
Ironhide is black in this in that previous scene.
Oh, interesting. Nice little animation error. I'm guessing they confused it with Trailbreaker. Autobots get into the elevator. Elevator opens up, sends their particles across the galaxy back to Earth.
And they're back.
And they're back.
And Shockwave's I feel sorry for Shockwave.
Well, I will say, as foot fetish aficionado Quentin Tarantino pointed out, I quote this all the time, but the less one makes declarative statements, the less likely one is to look foolish in retrospect. I think that's a paraphrase of that. That's from Four Rooms. But like Shockwave's like, they'll never make it back alive. Oh shit, they made it back alive.
Yeah, he should have said, "We've got to try to stop them."
Yes. I love this part where Sparkplug says,
I'm sorry, Spike. Sometimes nothing you do makes any difference. Optimus Prime, Dad, tell it.
Yeah, that was hard.
which is some serious, heavy existential crisis, but then in the TF Wiki it says it's even funnier and crueler if the "you" in that sentence specifically refers to Spike.
Yeah, so the scene we're referring to, we're back at Earth, Autobot headquarters. Prime is on his way out of existence. Teletran 1 at this point alerts the team to a rocking game of space invaders. Actually, no, they're just being attacked by all the Decepticon forces. Kind of.
Oh, I see. It's the graphic.
It's the graphic. The Autobots are hopeless, crazed with sadness. Spike grabs Jazz's gun and heads towards the action.
This is quite ridiculous.
Inspired by the
big gun.
human boy's lunacy, the rest of the Autobots join him for battle. Yeah, how fucking strong is Spike?
I know.
He couldn't pick up
14-year-old
Prime's
kid.
gun earlier.
Well, I gotta hand it to him again. Kind of ties in with the chip thing. You've got a human inspiring the Autobots.
Also, they don't take
motivate.
it back away from him. They let him keep Jazz's gun.
I will, if you saw a human pick up an Autobot-sized gun, I wouldn't take it back from him.
But they're robots. Like, they could just be like...
And also, doesn't Jazz need his gun?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Spike!
Be funny
Give me back my gun.
Funny to see Jazz or nothing and just get shot.
So
they all are. They're ready. They're ready to rock.
Which
That's right.
arguably is terrible. Like, why would you come out of your base? Like,
Well,
be in a
Make them
base.
come in.
Yes.
And then shoot them off
Like,
the corridor.
like the
or
movie
something like
300.
it's the thought that counts.
that. Outside the mountain, the Autobots are making their last stand. It's a pretty average action sequence, actually. There's a few good little shooting and punching scenes. We see Ravage tackle Spike. Rumble, he creates some earthquakes to get Prowl and Sunstreaker off the mountain.
This was a question of mine, like, Rumble, do you remember, Aaron, do we ever see Frenzy or Buzzsaw in the series?
I think you do see them both. Did we not see them in More Than Meets the Eye?
I don't think so.
I know you
I feel like I would have called it out.
I know you see Frenzy, and obviously you see him in the movie.
Obviously in the movie,
but I feel like there is an appearance of Buzzsaw, but I feel like there's maybe one.
With the toys, when you bought Soundwave, he came with Buzzsaw. You have to fucking buy Laserbeak separately.
Yeah, they're like, fuck you.
So I have Buzzsaw,
Which on the re-release is the same. Yeah, you get I think you get Buzzsaw and
Hang on. 1 moment.
oh, he's got. I thought you were gonna have to shit or something. What is?
You hear him like just drive away. Yeah, it's like this is the classic Simpsons.
Simpsons, yes.
That's the classic.
So here's Soundwave with Buzzsaw, and Laserbeak comes with Frenzy, and Ravage comes with Rumble.
So you gotta buy. They're like, we know who the most popular characters are, and you gotta buy all this shit to get everybody.
Have you compared the looks of this to my actual real
I think it's identical.
Soundwave?
Right now we're looking at the reissues of the Rumble and Frenzy and Ravage and Buzzsaw and Laserbeak, like Soundwave
It's legit.
boxes.
It's legit. I mean, it's like
The boxes from our youth where they were encased in styrofoam, but they did a good job. They look awesome. I'm going to collect them all. I don't think I'm going to open them though. I just like the artwork. I like the way they look.
It does look
This
great. It's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, if I had only been smart enough when I was
But a youngin'.
6 years old to keep them in the packaging.
To be a young capitalist.
Yeah.
Well, Ravage, he gets ejected. He takes out Spike. He kind of tackles him here.
Which this becomes a thing of Ravage and Spikes.
Yeah, they are paired up quite a bit.
Yep.
Sunstreaker and Prowl, they get rumbled off of their little station on top of the mountain here. And then we've got Sideswipe. And he takes off. That's
with
really
a weird like flame, chest flame power.
Which Megatron just
shoots him out of the air. Yeah.
It's duck hunting. Starscream is worried at this point about the energy that the Decepticons are expending. And Megatron transforms and commands Starscream, let's end all this shit. That's where we see this Ravage's pin spike and a beam of something that turns out to be, I guess, a special ability of Bumblebee's.
Yeah, I think it is something that we saw. Actually, what I think it is. So basically, Ravage is repelled by Bumblebee's headlights. Is what happens, and I think it's a callback to a scene that was cut from More Than Meets the Eye episode where Bee's headlights have repulsive powers.
Okay. This sequence is really meant to do is to signal that, hey, the guys from Cybertron are back. They've got that Cosmotron with them. Starscream continues to fire on the Autobots from above. It sounds like he should be firing Megatron. However, it shows him just kind of firing his null rays. Either way, moments later, the Autobots are all covered in rumble, but Bee and the crew have delivered the Cosmotron to Ratchet and Wheeljack. Megatron at this point laughs in glee at their victory, the victory of the Decepticons. There's Autobot viscera just strewn all over the ground.
They're fucked up.
Megatron offers a challenge to anyone in the universe to test his might.
Yeah, and I knew it was coming, but seeing Prime actually come back into the fight, it actually did kind of make
Give me goosebumps.
Yeah, I tingled a little bit whenever he did.
Megatron! There is one Megatron. I, Optimus Prime, challenge you. Optimus Prime? He lives? Our leader's back. He accepted your challenge, leader. The battle code requires you to engage him in combat. Alone. Then it's just the two of us.
Prime is healed super fast.
Yes.
I guess everything was done except for that Cosmotron. Megatron is bested in what I would have to say is a very silly fighting sequence.
It is.
Which includes Prime diving at Megatron, Megatron falling from a cliff and flailing while Prime shoots him in the chest, and Prime firing eyeball beams into Megatron's face.
The weird thing is that's a new power. It is also, though, like not the last time they will refer to one-on-one combat being like something that is that you're forced to
you have to answer the call.
Yeah, it's like an honor like thing.
Megatron yields as Starscream smugly calls for retreat. With no small amount of schadenfreude, calls for Megatron to be brought with them for repairs. And that's the end of the episode.
I hate the end of this episode because it ends with one of my most hated of tropes, which is everybody laughing.
You don't like that?
Or no, I'm sorry.
That's how we end all of our episodes.
I'm sorry, that's a different one, but that's not. I looked away from my notes. It's a different trope, which is they're gone for now, but they'll be back.
Oh yeah,
and I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is a trope can't exist until it's manifested several times. And I just think about the tropes that they invent. They basically invented these tropes as they were going, and it just became their template.
But they're getting these tropes are getting pulled from other things,
from other references that the writers,
other cartoons, other just
classic television. Yeah.
Although I remember there's a lot of Shakespearean plays where they end like
Frozen laughing.
Or are thee?
I bite my thumb at you, sir.
Hey, now that the episode's ended, let's get into the real world for a little bit.
In the real world. So, this episode aired on October 20th, 1984, which was a Saturday. Once again, the song I just called Say I Love You.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
By Stevie Wonder.
He's still rocking
was in the number one of the top 40, and we'll cut to Kasem.
Hello, listeners. I'm Casey Kasem. As if it weren't bad enough that the facile fathead fucks of the APDC use left-hand path sex magic to summon my immortal soul for commentary on a D-list podcast, they've recently taken to shamelessly inserting my hallowed American Top 40 radio show into their In the Real World segment. Well, the joke is on these show me state slobs because the fun-sized one couldn't even find the audio from the week of October 20th, 1984. And you know what? I'm not going to tell you who it was. I'm not going to tell you who was at the top. Because fuck these What? The tiny one, he already said it. He said who it was. And they left it in. Okay. Okay. Well, everything is terrible. I fucking hate this.
Awesome.
The number one movie is still Teachers. On the cover of TV Guide, Daniel J. Travanti, Sophia Loren, and Edward Ponti in Aurora by Night, which I never heard of, is an Italian made-for-TV movie. Italian filmmakers, especially in the 70s and 80s, they just made movies with they ADR'd everything, which was they would get German, American, Italian, any actor, it didn't matter. They were just speaking your normal language, and they dubbed it later.
That's a huge thing with the original spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, I think there's Clint Eastwood. Sorry, I'm just
they were known for it.
Like the original Clint Eastwood movie.
Good, Bad, Ugly.
There's Good, Bad, Ugly.
Yeah,
it's all filmed in Spain.
Yes,
and so yes, I agree with you.
It's like the movie Demons. The movie Troll 2 is similar.
Was it filmed in Spain or Italy?
It was filmed in Spain, even though he was Italian. The landscape...
But they call them spaghetti westerns not because of where they were filmed, but rather because of Sergio Leone.
That's right. The landscape of Spain better matched the iconic U.S. West. It's the closest thing they could get in the area that they were. So yeah, they were filmed in Spain, even though they have an Italian director based in the U.S. West.
It's crazy. This is a wild. I would have loved to.
And they are fucking awesome movies.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're all. And I should mention that the storylines and a lot of this, the way that the pacing is and the way the writing works and the plot lines are actually based on Akira Kurosawa's Japanese
or the Seven Samurai.
Yeah, so you've got Japanese cinematography and writing and directing influencing an Italian who is filming the movies in Spain,
about using all different kinds of
westerns, and it works.
And I don't know how many times I've seen either a deliberate reference or just an homage that is not necessarily trying to wink at you about it. But so many movies just straight up rip off the plots and pacing of those movies. Akira
Kurosawa's movies were so iconic and so good that they were quote unquote ripped off by a lot of people. Because
steal from the best.
Well, and also it was easy. It was easy to introduce things into other markets where people hadn't seen them because they're in Japanese markets. So it was easy to rip them off and not necessarily get quote unquote caught.
It's kind of like in the
Lion King.
It's also kind of like in the 2000s where America just was like, oh, all these Asian horror movies are super good. Let's remake them.
Right.
Like The Ring.
And also, I think, it boils down to no one really gives a shit if it's a ripoff or not.
They don't, and it's true. Nobody does.
And I will say, though, I don't consider Sergio Leone ripping off Akira Kurosawa.
No.
He was inspired.
He's just using themes from it.
And he does it really well.
Yeah.
So, and now they're almost like... are they tropes?
Yeah, some of them will be. What is that movie, the Bruce Willis movie that is basically the Seven Samurai, which is basically Good, Bad, and the Ugly, where
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, where it's a Western.
Yes.
Or is it a Western? Yeah, it's more, or is it more Prohibition
but
era?
It's like Prohibition era, but he's a gun fighter, and
it's basically a fistful of dollars.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, back.
Well, so this Italian made-for-TV movie I read the Wikipedia and I didn't do any other research because it's so funny to me. The summary and the plot sounds like they were written by two completely different people who watch completely different movies, and the plot seems like it was written by a non-native speaker.
Nice.
So, a 1984 Italian made-for-television drama directed by Maurizio Pozzi and starring Sophia Loren, Eduardo Ponti, and Daniel J. Travanti. In order to raise money for an operation for her son, a woman tells various former wealthy lovers that they are his father. The film originally premiered in the United States on NBC on October 21st, 1984, and was released theatrically in Italy on January 17th, 1985. Here's the plot. A desperate woman, Lauren, in crisis and poverty, is in search of the cruel husband, Noret, who abandoned after giving her a son. The boy has now become almost an adult and has a serious eye problem and is likely to become completely blind. The mother then chose to leave to go in search of his father, who in the meantime is starting a new life. When the mother finds out where he is, also learns that the cruel man has remade a family by marrying a young girl who becomes the mother of a 20-year-old son who has had the cruel man from another relationship.
Wow, that was
so hard to read.
Yeah,
anyway,
wow.
that's the
That was what's happening on TV Guide at the time.
Yes, and I have no trivia. I couldn't find anything good. So that was what's happening in the real world.
Here's your trivia.
Okay.
Last Man Standing was the name.
Last Man Standing, thank
was
you.
the name of the Bruce
Thank
Willis
you,
movie
Aaron.
we're trying to figure out.
Desperately trying to find.
Guys, let's rate the scheme.
All right.
I'll go first.
You go first. You do it.
I give it a 6 out of 10. I like the quote-unquote strategy of letting Autobots go to Cybertron to set them up for, a death that maybe they don't expect. But I can't give it that much credit because they didn't tell Shockwave what was up.
Right.
They could have just killed them on Earth. They had the advantage. They didn't have to let... But I like the idea that there is at least some semblance of strategy happening.
I gave it a 3.
Okay.
Because it's exactly the same scheme as the last episode we just watched, except poorer. Because at least it was antimatter, and this one they're just like, we're just going to steal some power.
And actually, what did they even steal? There really was there a scheme in this episode?
No, there wasn't.
The Autobots were trying to work with a weapons plant to make weapons. They just needed to destroy that weapons plant. End of scheme.
But their scheme worked. They got the Energon transported to
I guess that's
Cybertron.
true.
Yeah.
That's
That's
never
true.
addressed again. Like
I'll bump it up. I'll give it a 4.
That worked.
it just so happens that the Decepticons managed to fuck up Optimus Prime, which is really the plot of this thing.
Right.
Is like kill Optimus Prime, and
So
they
so
did. They had the chance to do it. They
There's
didn't do it.
two schemes. One of them worked. They got the Energon from that plant.
That's a
and got
perpetual
it-
scheme, but yeah.
and they got it to Cybertron. Then they became a second scheme, which was to kill Optimus, and of course that failed just because of some weird oversights. I don't blame Shockwave.
We never
Obviously,
blame
he has
Shockwave.
some sort of lack of control over this space bridge.
He's just a bystander.
Yeah, they
right.
come in and out. I feel
Shockwave's
sorry.
one goal is to calculate astroseconds.
Yes, he does that pretty well.
And I would say to the closest denominator, but there are no denominators in the Decepticon math language.
Has Chip saved them for 2 episodes now in a row?
You got him
Is
into
Chip the
I think
actual
Chip,
hero here?
I think Chip plays pretty heavily in the next episode as well.
He's just like saving everybody left and right.
I like how they brought your human characters that you're supposed to connect with, Spike and Sparkplug,
Who do nothing.
who do nothing, and they need to bring in a new guy who actually adds value.
Yes.
All
And
right.
then later, Carly, who actually does add value as well. Like,
Don't remember. Don't spoil it for
I
me.
won't wait for it.
Okay, let's get to our...
So there wasn't really a ton. This was written by Donald F. Glutt on June 21st, 1984, revised by Mr. Ron Friedman on June 29th, 1984. So since there wasn't a ton, I wanted you to read me to read. I'll read it. I'll do it.
You wanted us to listen.
Yes, you listen to me directly. I wanted to read the French theme song translation because this is where like we get our actual name of the Cosmotron from. Okay. 4 million years ago, the Autobots, sophisticated robots, left the planet Cybertron, which was ruled by Megatron. They have chosen to land on Earth in hopes of conquering the universe, which presumably refers to the Autobots in the context of this like grammar. They are the kings of transformation. The Autobots, car, truck, robots. It is war for survival, conquer energy, dominate the stars. In the struggle of the heavens, the evil or the good, who will be the winners? To the absolute power, the Decepticons are determined to seal the antimatter formula of Professor Alcazar on Earth. But determined to stop this evil, Optimus takes his starship to attack his enemies just in time.
So this is a French translation?
This is the French translation of the lyrics for the American theme. His Cosmotron crosses galaxies. That's it.
Okay.
So there's I still don't understand what this is.
It's the French translation of the words to the Transformers theme song.
So it'd be more
But in the theme song, they refer to Dr. Alcazar, who was in the last episode, and the Cosmotron that is in this episode.
Yes.
And then that's it. They don't refer to any other episode.
This
events.
is, yes.
So it'd be more like 4 million years ago, the Autobots, sophisticated robots, left the planet Cybertron, which was ruled by Megatron.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't do it.
that.
I couldn't make
They
it
have
work.
chosen to land on Earth. In hopes of conquering the universe, they are the kings of transformation, the Autobots, car truck robots.
Yes, exactly.
It is weird. It is weird. All right, there you go. Something like that. Yeah, that's different. I love it.
I left out some refrains.
Yeah, I couldn't touch it.
It's pretty sweet.
Very disco.
Anyway, I got that information from the TF Wiki. So
I-
if I'm wrong, go with the TF Wiki.
All right, I love that a lot.
All right, guys, let's get to our. We can.
I'm the ghost of the iconic moment.
You know.
I'll take it. I'm gonna take it.
Oh,
It's
Caleb's
it's
gonna
gotta
take
be
it.
it's gotta be Chip's line.
It's true.
nobody is
That's a good one.
disabled as long as they have courage.
I think that nails it.
Cosine.
I co-sign as well, but I had originally written down just the concept of the Rainmakers, even though I don't know that we ever see them again.
I don't think so.
In the G1 canon, they have become this sort of cult set of
Yeah.
figures. In fact, like this figure here, I've got the Siege
Siege
Thundercracker
War for
in front of me,
Cybertron.
which will complete my Siege collection of Seekers that transform into the
Tetrajets.
the Tetrajets. But they are releasing a special edition that has just all the Rainmakers in a box
Nice.
set. And every time you come out with a masterpiece version of Starscream, you have they recolor into the Rainmakers.
Yeah, it's a
and times
retool.
over.
Not even
So
a recolor.
remold, or no, not even a remold, recolor.
recolor.
Recolor. Hey, we know words.
Hey,
Hey, I have a segment.
Oh, well, proceed.
what is it?
I put a segment together because sometimes Ryan will listen to music and he either doesn't like it or he doesn't understand if it's music or not. And
Yes.
he's like, is this music? So I put together a little segment called Is This Music? So I want to put Ryan through a test
Okay.
where I'm going to have him listen to sections of the introductions to songs, or maybe they're not songs, and have him guess if it's actually music or not.
Okay.
All right.
How could it not be songs? What?
Well,
That's a jackhammer.
let's find out.
All right.
So I'm gonna start you off easy here.
Okay.
I'm gonna say if you say music or not music.
Okay. Well, that is music,
Starting easy here. That's
which I
obviously
enjoy. I like the song.
Yeah, that's obviously Dean Martin. Ain't That a Kick in the Head? So
It's a great song.
Starting you off easy.
I have that CD.
Starting you off easy, but gonna go.
Okay.
It's on the Swingers
off
soundtrack.
the,
isn't it,
It's
CD?
true.
deep end pretty
Probably why I have
pretty
it.
quickly here. I'll just so let's see.
Ugh. I mean, it is music, isn't it?
You gotta tell me one way or another.
Yeah, it's music.
Okay, good guess. It is good. It is music. That movie. That song's called "Fold 4, Rap 5" by a band called Autopod.
I hate it.
Autopod. By the way, Autopod was my jam in college.
Oh,
Sounds like Caleb
Yeah.
College.
Yeah, that was my college.
He was in art school.
All right, moving right along.
oh God. Well, this just sounds like a cat on a piano.
Well, is it?
I'm gonna
okay.
say this is not music.
There's rhythm, or there was.
You say it's not music.
It's not music.
This is music. This is a. Damn it. This is a. This is actually called Sonatas and Interlude for Prepared Piano by contemporary composer John Cage.
Oh,
Ryan, Aaron, are you keeping score here? So we've got
He's two for
two for 3.
Yeah.
or 2. Yeah, 2 and 1.
All right, let's move on.
Oh God. That's not music.
That is called Manzaraiku. It's Kyoto Imperial Court music.
God, is that Japanese?
Oh yes, that's
All right,
Japanese.
now,
They just
now
hate
you're
each
2 and
other.
2.
2 and 2.
Okay.
Two for 4.
All right, I'm gonna introduce. I'm gonna help you. So you're 2 for 2. I'm gonna give you a little palate cleanser here.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Is it from The Last Dragon?
It is not. Obviously, we all know that Ryan really only likes music if it's coming through like a movie.
It's true.
It's accompanying
Some of
visual
other kind
motion
of,
media.
Right.
Hello, my dear friends. Well, here I am on record at last. And it feels so wonderful to be
Is
here
this
with
Tiny
you
Tim?
on my first album. I'm so
It is Tiny Tim. This is music.
Ah, very good. Well, that we can agree.
3 and 2.
And the reason I know that is because Tiny Tim was in a terrible horror movie whose name I can't remember.
All right, that was your palate cleanser.
Okay.
Here we go. Here we will dig a little deeper here for you. So.
Oh! It's not music.
Once again, that is music by my college jam, Autopod.
Jesus Christ, that sounds like an accident.
3 and 3.
Like, that just,
You're doing-
it sounds like a number station.
You're actually doing worse than I thought you would. All right, here, moving right along.
Are these all music? Well, I'll say this is music. This is music.
Are you saying that just because you're just hoping that they're all music and you're trying to guess luckily?
I'm really lost at this point. I'm going to say this is music.
Again, I think you were guessing there, but it is in fact music from Metal Machine.
It's terrible
It's
music.
Lou Reed's album Metal Machine Music.
I hate
that
it.
song is 16 minutes long.
Well, it should be 0
You want to hear what it
minutes.
sounds like?
No, I don't want to hear what it sounds like at all.
Here's what it sounds like.
I do.
Here's what it sounds like at the 8-minute mark,
Oh, it's just noise.
and here it is at the 13-minute mark.
Oh, just noise.
Okay.
Got it.
All right,
Just
so
noise.
Where are we at, Aaron?
Just garbage noise.
4 and 3.
All right.
How many of these are there?
There's 15. All right.
What?
Next one.
I don't have that many fingers.
No, it's not music.
That's right. That's actually the sound of a locomotive.
It's
All right.
better than the last song.
Moving right along.
Hang on a minute.
15?
We're almost halfway through. Actually,
Choose,
we're way over halfway through.
Choose 2 more.
No.
15's too many.
No. All right, here we go. Here's the next one.
Ah! Pull it back a little bit. That's not music.
Once again, I'm tripping up. That's Autopod again. That's music.
All right. 4 and 5.
I
You're
feel
behind
like
again.
it maybe should be like 5 songs. This seems like a lot.
15 is a lot.
Is this a washing machine?
That is actually the sound of a washing machine. Good job. Good job.
All right.
All right, here's a palate cleanser.
5 and 5 again.
Here's a palate cleanser for you. Music or not music?
Are we in the mood to move to the left 3 feet? God damn it!
I guess it's music.
I'm in the mood to slide to the right 100 feet. God damn it!
I guess it's music.
To fall down the steps 4
Just stop it. Yeah.
That is Ween. I'm in the mood to move. That is
I
music.
don't like it. I mean, I've not liked any of this.
To be fair, there's only 4 left to go, Ryan.
That's not music.
Again, that is music that is from the Kyoto Imperial Court. That's Japanese.
It is really interesting. I can't believe you would say that is not music. Like, what did you think it was if not music?
Just noise.
Okay.
I find this fascinating. All right, here we go.
There is, but you can tell if it's purposeful or not.
Yeah, but of course it's gonna sound like music.
I gotta reset this.
But I'm like,
The things you've picked that were not music that you were right about definitely weren't purposeful.
oh, I like this. This is music. I like this.
This is Michael Jackson's song "Have You Seen My Childhood."
I have to listen to Michael Jackson privately in my basement because it's not allowed in my house.
All right, here we go.
But
I don't think it's music.
You gotta give
It's
us.
not music.
You're right. That's the sound of an electric fan.
I thought it was a leaf blower.
final one.
Last one.
Ugh, not music.
Not music is right. That's back how you remind me. That is not music. That's never
Twist.
music. So what was the total tally?
Twist.
How do you do?
The score of 8 that he got right and 7 that he got wrong.
Jesus, it's a coin flip. I will say for the next segment, if you want to do this again, like 5 or less songs.
Fine. I'll
I feel like it didn't take that long.
I can't imagine that's entertaining for anybody.
But that Nickelback
I think that was
punchline was
probably
solid.
I think that's going to be entertaining for a lot of people.
Okay.
Just because you didn't enjoy it, Ryan, at all.
I guess
doesn't
it's
mean
true,
other
it's
people
true,
don't
it's true,
enjoy
it's
watching you suffer.
It's built for you to hate it.
Yeah,
I guess that's
it
true.
really is.
Fair enough.
All right, thank you for entertaining me.
Well, all right. I guess that wraps up this episode. We've still got that AC/DC store out there.
AC/DC, yeah! Thunderstruck!
You will. Damn it.
Starscream would be a good front man for AC/DC.
That's a pretty good idea.
There's something there.
There is something there.
Let's keep toying with that.
All right.
We've got the Cup Recruitment poster by Mr. Ryan Jett, pin series by Ryan and me. Go check them out. Of course, we've got the Patreon. Go check that out at
Patreon.com/8.
His brain is fried from listening to all that
Yeah,
music
it's
and
horrible.
non-music.
God damn it. Patreon.com/APodDcast.
And of course, continue to listen to the show. Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, iTunes abusers. Leave a review for us.
5
if you don't
stars,
mind.
please.
And there's our social media at APodDcast, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, the web presence, our home base, AutopodDecepticast.com. Brian, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna put music up there. Oh.
I'm going to move to the left 3 feet, god damn it.
All right, peep our shop, check the merch, Patreon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
I give it a 6.
Rainmakers is the sponsor of Autopod Decepticast. Yes, 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 yes.